Let's take a look at the second eclipse of the year, the Virgo Lunar Eclipse, happening on March 3rd, 2026 at 6:38 a.m. That's Eastern Time, so be sure and adjust for your location. The full moon lunar eclipse is happening at 12 degrees of Virgo, 54 minutes in your chart. You want to identify where you have this degree point and which house it is in, because it is that house placement where you have 13 degrees of Virgo, where you are experiencing personal life changes related to Virgo themes, strengths, and needs. This is a closing out energy focused on what you're ready to improve and upgrade in the Virgo areas of your life. But first, there will be endings, closures, and loss around whatever is no longer suitable and no longer in alignment with the powerful new starts that have been initiated recently with that Saturn-Neptune conjunction. In other words, there have been big dynamics, big energies unfolding as a new era enters. And we realize at a personal daily level what no longer resonates or fits in our daily needs, in our lifestyle, in how we are directing energy, and if it is paying off. Virgo seeks for improvement, efficiency, organization. Virgo is where we want to simplify and manage life in a reasonable way in order to have more satisfaction, to feel good about what we do every day, especially if it is healthy and supporting our mind and body connection. Virgo is the energy of the mind, the analytical mind, and the body, the everyday functioning and health of how you move through life. It relates to the brain-gut axis. So this could also be a lunar eclipse that brings you into greater awareness of your current health, living habits, eating habits, as well as stress, anxiety, guilt, worry. And there will be a need to look at it all and deal with it, to make new choices and upgrades around what is not healthy for you and what could even be heavy on your energy now, where there's a sense of perhaps being too much in the mind, which is a Virgo strength. But with the moon here, it's personal and internal, and it's how you're embodying the stress and holding it in a way that can be detrimental. Now, this lunar eclipse is exactly conjunct the South Node, which is not pictured here, but the South Node in Virgo is at 8 degrees. We know that because it's always opposite the North Node, which is at 8 degrees of Pisces. So when we're working closely with that South Node, it signals there are endings here that are right on time, changes are needed, and Virgo seeks the how. How do I solve this? How is this going to work going forward? What are the new choices that I need to make? And then that Virgo energy will dive in to figure out a plan. But the energy here is very interesting because, as you can see, only the moon is on this side of the chart in Virgo. And then we have a lineup of planets in Pisces, including Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and then the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which is still forming and underway. So this side of your chart has much more focus and energy. And this is then the area of your life where you're looking to organize and understand what's going on, even though it feels overwhelming, confusing, and uncertain. Now, I feel this Mercury retrograde is important because Mercury is one of the rulers of Virgo. And Mercury is not strong in Pisces. Mercury is in its fall here. And so this Mercury can't quite grasp the details or specifics of what to do. And that is actually what we're meant to trust right now. With all these planets in Pisces, including Mercury retrograde, we have to be okay not knowing and to allow ourselves to surrender into the unfolding, but to also take care of ourselves as we do so. So there could be two areas of your life here where you are sensing the endings, completions, and uncertainty. So it's definitely this 13 degrees of Virgo, where you're seeing what no longer aligns and what needs to change, and you're feeling it. And then over here, all these planets in Pisces and the early degrees of Aries are signaling that yes, there is more going on that can't be seen or even understood just yet. And so we're learning how to be in process with it and trusting that this new start is happening, because all these planets here in Pisces are ruled by Neptune. Neptune now in Aries. And so there is a need to move ahead, that's for certain. But I feel that the Pisces and Virgo axis is now figuring out, what does that mean? How does that look for me? What do I do? And the answers are coming through intuitively, emotionally, and energetically. And you could find that you're clearing out some emotional debris here, or some deeper energies during Pisces season with this lineup of planets in Pisces. You're clearing out a lot, and you might need more sleep and rest. You could feel that you're just more exhausted, especially with this Mars now in Pisces. You could sense that your energy is not fully embodied here and that you don't feel fully grounded. And so a gift of the Virgo energy is to be grounded, is to ensure you're listening to your gut and that you're trusting what your body needs, especially for energy and rest. There's a lot of rest here in this chart, and that could be part of the struggle too, because there's things you have to get done, which is Virgo, your daily responsibilities, things that you maybe do for other people at work, at home, things that you just need to stay on top of. You can't let them slide. And so you feel like maybe you have to summon more energy to focus or to get something completed. Now, this moon has support from Jupiter, which is slowing down at 15 degrees of Cancer retrograde, preparing to station direct March 10th. So 1 week after this eclipse, Jupiter stands still, stations direct after 4 months being in retrograde. So this is a slow moving, more considerate, more internal Jupiter in Cancer that's amplifying what you're feeling and processing, bringing to your attention the wisdom and growth that's available through your emotions, and is supporting this moon as well as the sun and even Mercury, both in Pisces. So Jupiter retrograde is more internal. It could be pulling you back to previous life experiences, memories, previous timelines. It could be amplifying more of what you're meant to be feeling, and it feels like sitting in, simply because of how slowly Jupiter is moving at 15 degrees. There could be a sense of, I'm meant to just be in this and feel into this, to honor what I feel, to trust what is coming alive for me or what's coming to my awareness through my emotions. This can also relate to strong family energies, family dynamics, anything happening even in the nuclear family, or your lineage. This Cancer is related to the mother and through matriarchal energies that you've been connected to across lifetimes. I'm seeing it as a cord. I'm seeing it actually as an umbilical cord of energies here. And so there could be things that are coming to your awareness around where you come from, the women involved, and maybe what you're feeling and sensing around the bigger picture of some family themes. So that's a big deal. And then it's working with the moon, and again, these planets in Pisces. So it feels like this is quite internal, that there can be a lot that you're processing, shifting through, trying to figure out. Pisces wants to be left alone. Give me my space. I need time. I just want to be in an area or space where I can just float, listen, receive, and not have to be in the linear frame of mind. And yet the Virgo energies are bringing your attention to, again, what is important and what you have to take care of. Now, I feel that this lunar eclipse conjunct the South Node is going to bring up even more changes in how you use your skills, your work, your job, your responsibilities. This is going to be a big cycle of job changes for people as some professions and industries continue to phase out what is no longer relevant and what is no longer basically positive for the business or the bottom line. So this signals that people are going to have changes in their daily duties. And there's going to be more areas of life that we are reorganizing, and we are seeking new solutions that aren't arriving yet. They're not here yet, the solutions. It feels like there's an energy of floating. There's an energy of waiting, just waiting. It's a wait and see. How is this going to come together? What's going to happen next? How is this going to unfold? What's my next step? And so I feel that the strong Pisces energies can bring up even a lot of that discouragement at times, or a sense of, what do I do while I'm waiting? Because you could have a feeling that you don't know where to go. That's Pisces energy, is feeling lost. But the sun is also conjunct that North Node, and it was conjunct 4 days before this eclipse. So I feel like there are messages and signals around fated developments that are happening, that are coming together, and maybe you are sensing them energetically, but then the Virgo energy is, show me the evidence. Show me proof. I want to see that this is really happening, or that something is coming through. A lot of trust here, trust in the unknown, in a blind process. You could feel like you're moving blindly through a phase of your life right now. And then one of the best things to do with the Virgo energy is to focus on the specifics, on what you can take care of, on what you can control, on what you can focus on. And maybe you're realizing that's what needs to change, that there's things in your life that are no longer satisfying. And so you're ready for some new approaches that lead to new results. It's a good time to clean up and clean out in this Virgo area of your chart and in your life, to look at what routines and patterns have been operating within you that are not paying off, that are not healthy. And so this is where you could have some kind of personal self-assessment here around what is ready to be elevated, what is ready to be switched up, because the Virgo energy is mutable earth. So there's a willingness to adapt, especially if it leads to better outcomes and results. And that would be one thing to keep in mind, is that this eclipse, I'm just feeling like it's double endings. It's double closures with the energy in Virgo conjunct the South Node, and then all of the planets in Pisces. It's closures in perhaps 2 areas of your life that are asking you to recalibrate both areas of your life so that they're in a better balance, and how one affects the other, how you make a decision to not do something anymore in one area of your life, and then it's going to affect another area of your life. Of course, take that as it resonates, or however it shows up for you. But there's such a strong focus on both Virgo and Pisces here, that's the axis that we're realigning. So you could be realizing where you have sacrificed your needs for something greater than yourself. And there are some very strong messages coming through from your intuition and your emotions that you can't do this anymore. You're at a breaking point. This is the breaking point lunar eclipse. Now, a breaking point can be a good thing when you willingly accept it's time to do this differently and move ahead in a new way. Or that breaking point could lead to like this massive emotional shutdown of some kind. And you don't know what to do. And I think that's part of what we're balancing here, is that as we move further into world changes and a new era that's slowly coming together, there's parts of ourselves that can feel very unstable and unsafe, and be having these bigger energies coming through that even call you back into previous lifetimes that were much more, I'm going to say, traumatizing, much more extreme. And you have to remind yourself, no, I'm here in this present reality. This is my current life. This is my current environment. I don't have to go into the extremes of anything. Rather, how do I ground in and look at the small steps or small choices I can make now that I do have control over, instead of feeling overwhelmed or wrapped up into extremes? How do I ground this into what I can do? So if you have that energy of a breaking point of some kind, again, I feel that that is right on time with this lunar eclipse, because there are parts of our lives that aren't going to be sustainable. They're not going to work in the new energies. They're just not going to fit. And so that's part of what is coming to your awareness with this lunar eclipse. And I feel it traveling through the emotional body, but Virgo rules the digestive tract, the stomach, the spleen. It also connects to the mind. So there can be more anxiety, stress, guilt, worry. And that is meant to be moved through you. You're meant to be in motion, which is Pisces, in motion with these changes, to align yourself with the bigger movements here in a way that helps you release and let go. And so that could be dancing, that could be exercising, that could be yoga, that could be anything that puts you into a flow. Because I'm seeing this as being, it's like consciously aligning yourself with the changes that are happening, but making sure that your body is moving with the changes too, so that it's not stagnant or stuck. So I hope that makes sense. But of course, trust whatever that feels like for you. There's meant to be movement here that allows you to accept closures and completions, especially so it doesn't stay stuck in mental processing, overthinking, overperforming. That Virgo energy will be like, well, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to pull up another spreadsheet and keep working. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to stay in my head. I'm going to go into my default setting of being in the mind and focusing on something, which is also a form of escapism when you're not dealing with how you really feel and what you're really sensing. There's a lot of emotions here. There's a lot coming up that I think is very new territory. It feels like very new territory of how do I handle all this? And the Virgo energy wants to handle it. You handle it by putting it in an Excel document. You handle it by understanding where it goes in the database. But this energy is saying you have to handle it emotionally, intuitively, and spiritually, because part of this recalibration is newly syncing up the body-mind connection with the emotional, spiritual self. This feels more internal and quiet. There's an element of privacy here, working behind closed doors. There can be grief and loss that is coming up very strongly. And it's interesting because that is the other side of the coin of new beginnings, is that this new era that's coming in requires us to let go of the old era. And all of these personal planets here are in Pisces, moving through what has been, moving through maybe what didn't happen, moving through deeper layers of grief that you didn't see coming, moving through things that you know you're done with and you're moving away from, and you have feelings about that. All of that is beautifully human. Beautifully human. And then there's a part of ourselves that's like, okay, but I got to get to work. And I've got to still function amidst all of these things I'm dealing with. I would say everyone has a lot they're going through right now privately. Everyone has a lot of feelings. Everyone has a lot of things that they are sorting through and working through. And the more emotionally intelligent and conscious you are at this time, the better it's going to serve you. It's actually going to be something you move through faster when you are trusting what you feel and you allow it to be a part of your truth and of simply what's running through you now. It doesn't have to be anything you over-identify with. Rather, it's just part of what you are clearing out and closing out. But this moon in Virgo can be critical of that and can be hard on yourself. And this is saying no, just be real. Be in your authentic feelings here. And that's one of the best ways of loving yourself. And I'm feeling too like there can be faster relief the more you do so, the more that happens. Meaning the more that you are in the messiness, sort of like the more you're in the messiness, then you get to the other side to clean up. Not that that's the goal, but there's something about, again, these two energies are working together very strongly. And so you could have some realizations around what you have given up for others, those themes of sacrifice. And in this new era, the universe doesn't want you doing that anymore. And sometimes that can feel like wasted time, where you're starting to see maybe some of your patterns or habits in a whole new way, and you're realizing, I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to keep putting energy into that. I'm ready to be a newer, more spiritually evolved version of myself in this new era. But in order to get here, you've got to do this. You've got to do the Pisces season work. And it is a big Pisces season. Now, keep in mind that we have a very rare dynamic going on where all these planets that are currently in Pisces, Mars, the Sun, Mercury retro, and Venus, are all here during most of Pisces season. And then in April, they're all going to be in Aries with Neptune, Saturn, and Chiron. 7 planets in Aries in April. So the new starts are going to be timed with April energies, but it'll be based on how much you allow yourself to go into the fullness of Pisces gifts. And that means you can't overly manage it or shut it down or diminish it or make it smaller. So I hope this has given you some good insights on this Virgo lunar eclipse. We do have one more Virgo lunar eclipse in 2027, a year from now. It'll be at almost 2 degrees of Virgo. So we're not done with the Virgo eclipses just yet. There is a lot we are cleaning up and closing out, and allow this to be some clear messages around what you are ready to move away from as you honor perhaps double endings here that are part of ultimately your new start. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here on my channel, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. I so appreciate your comments below. So if you want to share anything that you're feeling around the Virgo lunar eclipse, I'd love to hear it, and it could be exactly what someone else needs to hear as well. Thank you for being here, friends. I'll see you back here soon.